The National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, is a near 49-year-old program set up by the then military government in 1973 to involve Nigerian graduates in nation building and development of the country. The debate about its relevance nearly 50 years after, is not a winnable one, or is it? Minister of Sports and Youth Development, Dare Sunday, has dismissed suggestions that the scheme would be scrapped or made optional. The minister was responding to questions from journalists after presenting his ministry's scorecard at the National Press Center, Abuja. That was on Tuesday. Now, the minister opined that the rationale which informed the establishment of the NYSC by the General Gowon government in 1973 subsists and cannot be done away with. Is the debate a healthy one, Jide?
I don't see any need for this kind of debate. Honestly, I don't. The problem with our people is that when something happens, we start thinking in the negative. Oh, corps members get killed during sectarian violence in a state. The next thing people are calling for it to be scrapped. But people can be killed in sectarian violence, in even automobile accident and all that. These things happen. The truth is, if you were to scrap the NYSC, for example, a lot of the states will struggle to find the manpower to fill some very critical staffing needs. For example, in Lagos, the Ministry of Health in Lagos, I doubt if the Ministry of Health in Lagos can get by without those numerous corps members who are serving as doctors here. The state needs them, the state requests for them, because they know they help them to fill a lot of those gaps.
And gaps, yeah.
Teaching in the rural areas, for example, a lot of these corps members, when they post them to rural areas to teach, it affords the states the opportunity of accessing manpower. Someone was telling me about the corps member in my own in my town. That those corps members, they even look for accommodation. They give them accommodation. They try their best to make them comfortable because they help a lot, especially with the teaching of students. There is manpower shortage across board that these guys are feeling in the various states, even in federal parastatals. You know, if the other day when this needless debate happened, the Lagos State government official said, look, if we say, okay, these guys should go, the health sector in the state will suffer because there are so many of them who are helping to fill out. What we can do is to make the scheme more and more relevant, making attuned to present-day realities, and one of it they are already doing. You know, with the training that they give them, for some of them to become interior decorators and all that, so that these white-collar jobs that are now available, they can find some skills that they can then use to make money for themselves. Yes, I've seen these 3D designs that look like floor tiles.
Okay, yeah.
What I saw some corps members do in Ogun State, you know, because they are young, they are bright, they are creative. You just need to teach them maybe for a few days.
And leave the rest
to them. You see what these people will come up with. And we've seen even testimonies of corps members who on their own are now employers of labor. Some of them just needed these little funds, startup capital, to start their own poultry, to start their own company where they do fruit juices and all that.
Yeah.
I've seen testimonies of corps members, which means that you cannot, even without knowing people, you can actually go and serve somewhere, work hard, and then if you are lucky to access funds, you can start a big business of your own that will now employ other corps members. I've seen, because when I was doing the documentary for the NYSC last year, I saw corps members who had been trained in making adire. Adire is a big thing now, to the point that even these Chinese are now doing adire on their own, although theirs will never be as good as ours. We have to find a way to stop them. They're even exporting it to Nigeria.
When I heard they had gone into Gary production, I was weak.
Yeah, they do not see the
big.
they didn't see the machine that they are using to do Gary. You know, the Chinese are now, they are even worse capitalists than the people who invented capitalism. You know, they are just looking for where they can make money.
Yeah.
So the point that I'm making is that a core member starts his own adire factory, and he's now an employer of labor. He came to the camp to tell them this was how I was trained in this same camp. Now I'm back to tell you that it is possible.
It is.
If you are focused, you too can become who I have become. So, and finally, even serving one's country is a global thing. We've seen footballers made to stop playing for some time because they needed to go and serve their country.
South Korea.
Ivanisevic, the tennis player,
Yeah.
he had to, Goran Ivanisevic, he had to stop playing tennis for some time to go and do the mandatory national service. They do it in different forms in some countries.
Yeah.
In some countries, you go and serve in the army.
In the army.
You know? You become a reservist of some sort to go and serve in the army. So what is wrong in us having a scheme that enables our young people to spend some time to serve their country, to spend some time to understand their country better? Many people went to serve and even got married there.
Yeah.
They met their spouses there. So, and honestly, if some of us had not done youth service,
Yes,
we
that's what I
would
want
have
to
known
add.
Nigeria better.
To add
Yeah.
to that, I think that the NYSC is one of the best programs ever introduced by government, by the federal government.
Remember Professor
And I will tell you,
Adeba
no,
Adedele?
that's one of the best programs because I will tell you why. My youth service at the College of Basic Studies in Maiduguri in 1983 was the best 1 year of my life. Prior to that time, I was basically a Lagos boy. I've never been to the north. So when I was given my NYSC letter and posted to Maiduguri, it was as if I was going to hell. You understand? My mom was crying because it was like, where is Maiduguri? And when they told us where Maiduguri was, it was as if, what are you going to do there?
Yeah.
But when I got to Maiduguri, I saw a different Nigeria. I saw a different, complete Nigeria. I was so excited because I was already prepared to transfer back to Lagos. When I got there, I said, I don't want to come back to Lagos. I saw differently because at that time, that was the time that I was able to live, to have these close contacts with people from the north. And I saw that the stereotype that we had about them was different.
Well, needless.
Completely different. And part of the problem that we have in Nigeria is that we don't really know ourselves. We don't know enough of ourselves. So it is easier for politicians to manipulate us, to set us against each other. But when we get to know each other, we don't have problems. Nigerians don't have problems with themselves. Because I was in Maiduguri, and at the time, the year that I spent in Maiduguri, that I told you is the best 1 year of my life, there was a time in Maiduguri that it would be so hot that even if you pour water on your bed, you will not be comfortable. At that time, we had the Matasini riot, and I barely escaped it.
Yeah.
The Matasini riot happened in Maiduguri that year. I barely escaped it. Yet, that was the best 1 year of my life.
So culture shocks gone.
Yes, so it's important for us to strengthen the NYSC. You know, that we should scrap it is balderdash. That cannot happen.
Or make it optional.
No, the optional. That will not happen. Instead, we should start, because it's a very good program. Apart from getting to know each other,
because if you
when you
make
look at
it
all the things
optional,
that he said, you know, they provide manpower in different states. They help all things in the election. They were the ones that they use as ad hoc staff and all that. But the most important thing about NYSC...
See the 3D thing I was telling you?
Yes. The most important thing about NYSC is for us to get to know each other.
They made these ties themselves. These are core members from Ogun State.
Yeah. That's the most important thing about that program.
It will seem to you that it is glass, that you are stepping on glass.
Yeah.
And they made it themselves. On that 1 week, 2 weeks training, they came up with their own. You know, so this is the thing. Whoever is thinking they should scrap this and needs to have his head examined. There are things that they can scrap in Nigeria, but it shouldn't be the NYSC.
No.
I don't understand why you don't want to serve your country.
Lovely program. Apart from serving your country,
after close
it makes
to 50
us to
years,
get to know each other better.
After close to 50 years, I think the exercise has come to stay.
Of course.
Of course, that's come to stay.
You know, remember the outside that we were discussing, and I told you about Kokawa and all that. When I was doing youth service, you know, then Nigeria has something called luncheon vouchers. Remember? That companies used to give people.
Forgotten fuel vouchers?
That's what I'm saying. The luncheon voucher, the area manager of luncheon vouchers in Maiduguri was my friend. So he used to travel to different places to go and audit and all that. And I used to travel with him. That's why I said when we went to Kokawa is like the free, very free, but Nigeria was still good there. There's no terrorism.
Yeah.
There's no terrorism then. So we had to go by road. You know, you have to go by SUV in desert to Kokawa. It's on the tip of Borno State. Desert region. So I was able to travel extensively to Bauchi, to different places, knowing different cultures and all that. There's nothing like NYSC. I will tell you, it's a very good program.
Oh, it is fun. NYSC is fun, big fun. I can't imagine that any good Nigerian will be thinking that this is something to scrap.
Yeah.
In fact, it shaped the lives of a lot of us.
Of us, yes.
Shaped our lives. For a lot of us, that was the first time we were leaving our parents.
Yes.
You know? So your descent into manhood, into full manhood, is actually the NYSC that gives you your first taste of some level of freedom.
When I was, because I was from a privileged home. You understand? I was from a privileged home. When we were young, we had a cook that we have timetable of things that we eat and all that. So the first time on my own that I would cook was when I was doing my youth service in Maiduguri, because you know then Nigeria was still good. As coppers, they gave us a whole house.
Yes.
Yeah.
A bungalow, two of us, a whole bungalow.
Yes.
In GRA in Maiduguri. That's what we're giving. And food in Maiduguri was so cheap.
You were treated like a...
That's what I'm saying. Nigeria was still good then. In 1983, that was the best 1 year, man. How can anybody talk about NYSC and say it should be optional?
Well, we talk about politicians indulging in political histrionics. You get the impression when they run out of ideas, they float these things.
Yes, that's why they set us against each other. For example, before I went to Maiduguri, the impression I had about an average northerner was that an average northerner was docile, they hardly go to school, they are not intellectuals. But in College of Business Studies Maiduguri, where I served, the culture then was that if you have any topic, you write an article, you post it on the notice board. Everybody will read it. They will react to it. They will go and write their own.
That's it.
And we're doing that intellectual exercise, and we're enjoying it. Brilliant young northerners, that brilliant, very brilliant people. And some of us that came from Lagos, they used to call me Lagos boy. You know, it was something novel because that was the first time I was interacting with northerners on a large scale like that. And you know, and it killed a lot of stereotypes that I've had.
Yes.
Or that have been fed.
Oh, that they are not brilliant.
You understand? So we must encourage NYSC. In fact, what we should even encourage is that instead of a lot of our kids, because a lot of us, when they post our kids like that, we'll go and change them back to Lagos or something. We should try to encourage people to allow their kids to go, if not that because of this security situation.
That's it.
People should go to the far north or to the and explore other places.
Jide, but they should increase the allowance.
No, that has to happen. That has to happen.
But they've done that. Though they need to do
now
more.
they have to
Even now, they need to do more.
You need to do more.
Yes, they need to do more. I agree.
Things are tough.
Because you notice that when you have a child as a copper, you have to still to give the person allowance because what they give them is not enough.
All right. Sometimes it's not doing our best that matters. It's doing what is necessary.
Yeah.
So I agree with the minister. This is not a time to even contemplate.
No.
So the debate should be rested.
Yes, I agree.